4 to 6 weeks later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be doing this off the rip because this is a take 2. Because somebody here forgot to record.
It's actually take 3, believe it or not. Because somebody cursed in the first 30 seconds the last time, actually.
Oh, that is true. Anyway, folks, besides the rambling that me and Words just did, we're back with another Talking Skulls episode because you know what? Why don't we just finish the trilogy? Why don't we just finish it? Because Ezra Miller seems intent on just making the news round the clock. And if you haven't been living under a rock, DC said, let me fire, well, specifically, yeah, DC said, let me fire every actor, or at least have them rumored to be out, and keep the one idiot nobody wants to have around. Ezra Miller. So, Words, how do you feel about a person with a long criminal record somehow surviving the purge at DC?
The fact that Henry Cavill is out, but Ezra Miller isn't, is just honestly the most idiotic thing I've ever seen a studio actually do. Like, Ezra Miller is insane, has so many like criminal things going on right now. I don't even think any of the things have gone to court yet for them to be solved or settled. And he's the one they're like, yeah, you can stay. But Henry Cavill, the guy who's clearly the best Superman ever, probably, you get to go fuck yourself. And also not have a job at all, except for your own show, which he is doing Warhammer. But yeah.
So, as we said, ladies and gentlemen, you will be Ezra Miller, despite everybody saying, oh, you know, Flashpoint will be the reset point. Yeah, that's not going to be the case after this. Ezra is most likely sticking around after said reset, and I'm just going, why? Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Even from the very beginning, Ezra Miller as Flash was always he wasn't very popular. Because everybody kind of went, why don't we just use the guy from the CW show? Look, the CW show of Flash has certainly gone downhill in a long time. Has not been good for like a really long time. But the actor who plays Barry in that show, Grant Gustin, really liked by a lot of people. And hell, Ezra and Grant met as like the Flashes of their own respective universes in the show. So, why don't you just use Grant? But that's neither here nor there. All I'm going to say is this much. They will rue the day they made this decision. Because all I have to say is, what dirt does Ezra Miller have on the Warner Brothers executives? Words, explain this to me. What kind of dirt must he have on them?
He probably knows a little bit about James Gunn's obsession with little kids and stuff, because he himself is a, how do you say, pedophile, and he loves them under the age of 18. James Gunn supposedly also does, so, hey, maybe he knows some things about that, and, he's like, hey, motherfucker, if you don't let me stay, I'll blackmail you for the rest of your fucking life. And have you lose all your credibility in Hollywood, which, to be honest, he should have already lost all of his credibility after the Henry Cavill decision.
Well, besides that whole thing about James Gunn, because I'm going to be like, wasn't that tweets from, like, a party or a joke from, like, years ago?
You don't know.
Look,
you never know.
Look, man, all I'm going to say is, unless there's actual allegations, I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm just going to take it as a joke until actually something comes forward.
I'm not saying, hey, let's go cancel James Gunn because of that.
Wasn't he already canceled?
He was already canceled, technically. I don't care, because I knew he was probably joking around, but hey, maybe Ezra Miller knows some stuff is real. Who knows? That's only assumption here. He's just blackmailing Hollywood executives because he knows their deep dark secrets.
I don't think this is James Gunn's decision. I think this was just a Warner Brothers executive decision. I don't think that James Gunn had anything to do with this decision personally. At least I think. Now, Shazam, that's a whole different question. But in the case of Ezra Miller, I'm going to say this is more the executives, because if I remember correctly, Ezra recently went to rehab or whatever the hell it was. He went to go get quote-unquote help after all this time. After he got threatened with the whole, hey, we might do some fudging around to where you maybe not get paid or your movie doesn't come out or whatever the case may be. I'm going, yeah, there's probably some fudging around going on behind the scenes with the executives. So
the only thing I could think of, and I did say this the other time we did record this, was maybe the executives just think, well, he has all these issues, this criminal record. His price isn't going to be that high to keep around like a Henry Cavill, like maybe Gal Gadot, not really, but to keep around Jason Momoa as Aquaman, as a more of an A-list DC hero, and etc. etc. So maybe they're like, oh, Ezra Miller, he has all this criminal shit going on, and we can just like give him not as much money because he has all those issues. I think that might be another reasoning why they decided to just keep him out of all the people.
Yeah, that's a possibility. If I remember correctly, Robert Downey Jr. didn't get much of. He got not much compared to what he gets to now. When he first got hired to play the role of Iron Man, he got a very, was it a couple $100,000 or something to that effect? It's I get it, but we're talking the concept of, you know, Hollywood contracts. What Robert Downey Jr. I remember wasn't much, because he was I believe he had just gotten out of rehab from his drug addiction, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but if that's kind of how the story went. And then it took literally the now very pissed off guy who used to play Rhodey in the first Iron Man movie. That man has been pissed off since, but I'm gonna say that's probably the case. They probably thought, oh, Ezra Miller's gonna be cheaper because, you know, he has all this stuff, so he has no real leverage, right? Because we can just go out and get a new Flash actor anytime we want, so he's basically gonna have to accept whatever terms we give him. I also think this is more for the Twitter audience, because Ezra likes to say he's non-binary or whatever the case may be, and he goes into the they/them pronouns or whatever. I also feel like they think it might be a bad look to just, you know, can him and get somebody who might have he/him pronouns.
You know, Marvel, Jesus Christ, that's another company we should talk about. Warner Brothers would get absolutely canceled probably if they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna fire this guy or this person, whatever the fuck non-binary shit is. Who gives a fuck at this point? But now I'm gonna get canceled, but it's okay. You can't cancel somebody who's already been canceled. So Warner Brothers is probably like, let me not fire this guy because we don't need any more bad rap, especially after the Batgirl thing and obviously the Henry Cavill stuff with the other things of DC and canceling a lot of projects for tax purposes, for tax write-offs and shit like that. So maybe they're just trying not to get completely canceled. Let's just say that.
Well, I mean, if they're worried about being canceled, they might as well be worried about how crappy their movie slate is going to be this year, most likely. So, I think they have bigger problems than Ezra Miller. You know, the backlash to Ezra Miller. I don't think there would be much of a backlash to him being fired if that was to happen. I think there would be more celebrations like it's New Year's. Honestly, at least from the DC fandom.
I think that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever met one person who genuinely liked Ezra. Personally. This is completely anecdotal. If you know somebody who does like Ezra as Flash, great. But I'm just saying, in my experience, I haven't met anybody who likes Ezra.
I think, like, when he was first announced as the Flash, like, we were confused. Because it's like, bro, like, you already have the Flash on a TV show, and as bad as the show actually is, I'm not gonna blame Grant Gustin or however you pronounce his last name. I'm not gonna blame him for that because he's just doing what he has to do with the material that he's being given, right? So I think he absolutely could have took the role in the movie form as well and just ended the shitty show instead. But you know how that went. You know, now we have Ezra Miller, horrible, did a lot of horrible shit. And
Yeah, he especially likes that. He likes that Scotch under 18, man.
Yeah,
He really does.
And then Grant is like on one of the worst shows on network television currently. So, yeah, DC ain't working out on multiple fronts. It looks like.
Oh, look, ladies and gentlemen, me and Words here can go on and on and on about Ezra Miller. The truth of the matter is, this is about as much as he deserves in terms of attention, because quite frankly, this man does not deserve this much attention. He really does. He really does not deserve this kind of attention from anybody. He should just be allowed to just do his thing and just be, you know, not famous, not any of this, so just be regarded to the background, because after everything he's done, after everything that has went down, he was rewarded with staying. When compared to his fellow actors like Henry, Gal Gadot, they didn't get to stick around. Gal Gadot is, I think, pretty much all but confirmed to be out the window. At least that's what I think. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring this episode of Talking Skulls to an end. Why? Because I frankly don't want to go. I don't want to go on a circle jerk for like 40 minutes.
Also, I think it's time to finally end the WB Debacle trilogy. And let's not have it lag on too fucking much.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for listening to our rambling for however long this is gonna be. Hopefully, I'm praying here. Words knows this is weird to hear from me. I'm praying that this is the last time we talk about WB, because if WB does some stupid shit again, this is gonna be weird. We're gonna come back and be like, what's after a trilogy?
The quartet.
A quartet. I'm like, I really don't want to do a quartet. I really don't. This is just getting out of hand. I want to talk about other things, by the way.
It's going to end up being like we just did the original trilogy of Star Wars, and then now we have to restart all over again, and we do episode 1 of fucking The Phantom Menace, and that's going to be the next WB episode that we fucking do. And I really don't want to do that, because you know how that went.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, we thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, let us know what you think, because I'm almost certain not everybody was happy to hear Ezra Miller is back in the saddle, because quite frankly, nobody was. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe, because it doesn't cost you a damn dime, like Danny Dime, to hit that subscribe button. Anyway, Words, you got anything to say to the folks at home?
Nope, just stick around, check out the rest of our content, and hopefully our next episode of this will not be WB related whatsoever.
Alright, folks, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace out.